Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to tell you that I've changed the name of the channel from Lady Eva J to Eva J's Mystical Messages. The reason is because of what the contents of this channel are and what I'm doing with the channel. And I just thought that getting rid of the old nickname and just going with something that really inspired me. And I thought this was what inspired me. So that's why the name has changed. I am very excited about today's meditation. I am absolutely over the moon excited about it. And as I read this or as I go into this, I think you'll understand why. First, I have to tell you about 25 years ago, I was writing stories with a friend of mine. She and I have since parted company. We contact each other periodically, but we're not really in contact that much anymore, which is really a pity because she was such a great person and we just had a really great time writing together. But we wrote these stories together, and in the stories were intertwined angels and fantasy and things of that nature. So we used that as a sort of springboard to kind of trying to find out things about ourselves that were a little bit out of the ordinary. Now, granted, we never shared these stories because they were very private and personal stories, and we're never going to share them. They're just stories that we wrote that we enjoy ourselves, and it's like having a diary. So we don't share it publicly, but we did write these stories. But springing off from the stories, I wrote another story called A Renaissance Angel, which I will am going to dust off. I wrote this like 20 years ago, so I will dust it off and I will actually read it in the story corner of the channel. So that will be done hopefully today or tomorrow sometime. I don't know. I just have to find the time to actually sit down and read it. And I have to actually get it printed out so that I can read it. So that is going to be done in the coming days, hopefully. I am in a different location. I usually do these in the living room. Today I'm in the kitchen, but that's okay because it's nice and quiet in here and my husband can work in the other room, so he doesn't have to worry about being quiet or keeping videos turned off or anything of that nature. So without further ado, oh, I'm so excited. This is so wonderful. I am really excited to share this with you, and I will be adding a couple of links to the bottom of the video. One is a interview that I did with Ellie Dreams Down Under, the YouTube channel. She does tarot readings. She does a lot of spiritual interviews and spiritual mindset type of things. Very good channel. If you're interested in like more of the esoteric things. She doesn't do just political readings. She does like everything. She does a lot of different and interesting, insightful videos. So I recommend her channel highly if you're interested in that. As it were, when she did the Universe Always Wins channel, she moved everything over to her main channel now. But this is how I came in contact with Debbra Lupien, and this is like kind of one of the amazing things about the universe and how things work out. This is this interview that I did with her. She also did one with Deborah, so. We both were on her channel, and that's how I found out about Deborah's channel. So it's just like the spreading of ideas and information, and yeah. So I thought that was kind of neat and everything. So that is how I came in contact with Deborah and how I started taking part in her Ask Your Guides live streams and other things that she does. So that's kind of backstory there. But at any rate, so I'm going to do the meditation, finally. It is so exciting. So here we go. We're on day number 10, and today is February 8th, 2025. And I started by saying, the days are flowing together. I thought this was day number 9. Now I realize it's day number 10. I love talking to you. And he says, and I do you. I'm glad that you are doing this. Guides, your guides are also wanting in on the action. Do you think you are ready to allowing them to step in? I said, I heard their laughter at one point. And he said, yes, they've been there. You already know about Sunshine. She has been with you since you were a little girl. Another guide you have is Nigel. And I said, Nigel? Are you kidding me? He says, no. He has been with you for a very long time. You got inspired by him before when you wrote stories with your friend. Nigel was feeding ideas into your consciousness and allowing your fantasy to spring forth. I said, yes, I remember writing a story called A Renaissance Angel where he came and helped the girl recognize her internal beauty. I may actually read that story as an extension of this channel as part of the stories, but I had completely forgotten about that. He said, you know that Nigel would not let you just forget. He was feeding ideas into your mind for as long as you have been writing stories. I said, is he the reason that I have over 200 stories that aren't finished? And here interjects Nigel. And he says, I most certainly am not. I just reached out to you and gave you some ideas. The story you wrote with your friend was the perfect way for me to come to you. You made me a part of your life. But in truth, you have many guides who helped you along the way. It was not just me. And I said, this is amazing. All the time I thought that I was dreaming or fantasizing. And Nigel said, no, that asthma attack you had as a child was not fantasy. That was real. You were so scared, and I wanted to do more for you, but you were never alone, and I showed myself so that you would know that. I said, what happened that night? And Nigel says, shall I tell you, or do you want to? He's asking Metatron this, and Metatron says, I can tell her. And I finally said, guys, come on, someone please tell me. And Metatron says, I will tell you what I observed, and then Nigel can tell you the rest. I said, okay. Was I going to die? And Metatron says, you would have had your brother not found you. He had gotten up at a certain time and came to the bathroom. It was not generally normal for you, as your brother never really got up to go to the bathroom at night. But his guides helped him in that regard. I said, they did? But why would the guides of another person want to help me? And Nigel said, guides watch out for other people too. There's no one who can tell them not to. It is what inspires another person to become a hero and save a person's life. And Metatron says, yes, that is what happened. Your brother's guides gave him a nudge. And he responded. You have to keep in mind, you were 5 years old at the time. You were, at that age, capable of seeing guardians, angels, and spirits. I said, so it was nothing out of the ordinary for my 5-year-old self to see my guides. And Metatron says, yes. And what I saw Nigel do was to go to you. He did not speak as you remembered, but he did touch you. And I said, yes, I felt his hand on my head. It was as though he was giving me now pats on the top of my head. It was the most wonderful feeling. And Metatron says, the time when you could not breathe was when he did that. He was determined to be with you if you transitioned. I said, I was that close? And Nigel says, oh, love, you were. I wanted nothing more than for you to hold on. When you remembered me, my heart leapt for joy. The truth is, I've been waiting a very long time to actually speak to you about that experience. The link you have to Metatron has enabled me to do that. I have been with you during the last 9 days when you have spoken to him, and I hope that you would come into a space where we could speak. I said, do my other guides want to speak to me? Nigel says, yes, they can and will. You already know about Sunshine. She was told to you during a reading. But there are other guides who will come to you as well. They will help you in various ways. I said, do you mean they have different tasks to me? Nigel says, there are some who show up when you are scared, and they're only around that part of the time. I'm with you always. I will not leave you. Our souls are linked. I said, does everyone have a guide like Nigel? And Metatron says, yes, they do. You wrote a lot about that back in the day. These ideas were the reality. Okay, some of what you wrote was fantasy or drama, but the core idea was laced in truth. Nigel has been with you off and on in a conscious sense ever since you were a little girl. If you try your rods out, you can ask him to come to you and he will answer. Give it a try. Nigel, are you here with me right now? Nigel, are you here? He's a bit shy about them, I think. And Nigel says, practice. It is a new form of communication for me, but we can keep trying. I said, this is so amazing. Thank you, Metatron, for bringing Nigel back to me. I think I've always known that he is with me, but I dared not to hope. I thought he was a fantasy figure, like an imaginary friend. Nigel says, never imaginary. I was merely giving you an idea, and you were writing it down. The truth is, I'm thrilled that we are now able to speak on this level, and I am so proud of you for sharing this. Perhaps it will help others to find their own connections as well. I said, this makes me so happy. Thanks, you guys. I love you both. And they both responded with, and we love you. So you can imagine how excited I am about this meditation, about what happened. I have thought for many, many years that Nigel was just a figment of my imagination, that he was somebody that I wrote stories about and that I used fantasy as a way to, I don't know, cover up insecurities or what have you. But to discover that he is one of my guides and to discover that the things that I wrote about 20 years ago are actually manifested in reality is mind-blowing. I'm absolutely gobsmacked at this moment about the fact that he is an actual part of my life, that this isn't me going off on some fantasy that because I write stories and that the stories are, you know, they are interwoven through my fantasy and through my idea that these things are fantastical. And to actually sit here and to write this stuff down, and okay, the rods didn't work out so well, but they didn't work out when I tried it during the meditation either. It seems as though Nigel is not very apt with moving the rods around. So we'll have to keep practicing together, but that'll give me something to do, and maybe in time I will actually be able to do a video with Nigel working the rods, but we'll see. There's always something good coming up with this. I mean, I just feel absolutely overjoyed, very happy. And I hope that this will inspire you, as they said, to make the connection with your guides and to be able to have that sort of conversation and that free-flowing idea that the guides are there and that they're there to help, and that sometimes they will actually, in helping their own person or helping the person they are guiding, they will help somebody else. And I think that's what Nigel's intention was with this, was to help me, but also in essence help you come in connection with your guides. So I have been talking for 15 minutes. This is a record here. So I will end for today. And I will look for that story and hopefully get that posted. And that will probably be a long video too. But I am absolutely thrilled. I hope you can say it, feel it, sense it, and just take it to yourself and use it. Because this is amazing, and this is one of the most amazing things that's happened since I started doing these videos. So I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care. Enjoy the moment, and maybe take a walk in the sunshine and have a wonderful time. Take care, and as always, namaste.